We're going to call the Law Enforcement Committee meeting to order. We have a quorum. Who do we have online? Anybody? Somebody's online? Yeah, Keisha. Okay. All right. Agenda was properly posted. Public's opportunity to speak. Is there anyone in the room or on Zoom that would like to speak? I don't see anyone in the room. Is there anyone on Zoom that would like to speak? All right, then we'll move to number 4, discuss and consider the minutes from the May 26th, 2026 Law Enforcement Committee meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
One second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. Motion passes. Move to 5, old business. 5A, Police Department construction update.
All right, so as outlined in the monthly memo, progress is still continuing on the building construction. One area that came into question was related to the soils where the public parking area is that needed also undercutting, as had been referenced previously for the site. I'll pull up the photo. Last undercutting occurred in the actual footprint of the building itself. The new request was related to this area. If you know the lay of the land there, this area literally was holding water well after it had time to dry. We'd given it as much possibility and pumped out. They needed to undercut and add stone to give stability for what will be the future public parking area. So as it's laid out in the memo, change order 24 came in at $17,770.50, which was approved by staff. That is not an additional charge above and beyond our budgeted amount. That is part of the contingency fund. So at the bottom of the memo, it does show what has been used out of the contingency fund and what still remains in there as a balance.
And just as a reminder for everyone, anything over $50,000 has to be approved by the village board. Anything under can be approved by staff.
And again, the approval of this continues the process. You can't see it in the photo here of the steel structures that they brought in last week are actually staged here to be implemented over this week in part of the building. So that is the update. Again, everything's moving along as it's supposed to and progressing.
Any questions or comments? Then we can move to 6A under new business, discuss sex offender appeals board official form.
So as part of the implementation of the safety zone really related to sex offender residency, part of the process is having an appeals board, which is the LEC. In the ordinance, we had that there was a form if somebody wished to appeal their denial. Unfortunately, that was overlooked at the time. I've been in contact with legal. They're utilizing some forms, some references that I provided them, and some others that they have to come up with a form so that if someone wishes to appeal their denial, they can submit it. We did have one attorney inquire, and they were directed by legal to just submit an email with pertinent information if they did wish to proceed, so that there is no hesitation or delay in an appeal if someone wishes to appeal that. So that's where that's at. I'll hope to have at our next LEC meeting an actual form for you to view as what the village would be utilizing.
Okay, any questions or comments on that?
Actually, I have a question. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
How often are we taking a look at the map that we had created with the boundaries and kind of reevaluating that? I know we've had some new parks come online and maybe potentially some green spaces we're missing off of that.
It's an annual review.
Okay.
So again, with any additions that come in, We try to catch them, but they are checked on an annual basis, usually in the first quarter.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else on that one? Then we can move to 6B, life-saving awards.
So Officer Ace and Officer Nordskog, now Officer Meinen, were nominated for life-saving awards due to their response to a medical emergency on April 7th, 2026, where an individual was pulseless, unresponsive, and not breathing. During their assessment, they administered life-saving compressions. In speaking with medical professionals, due to their efforts, they were instrumental in the victim's survival. Both officers' actions exemplify the courage, professionalism, and selfless commitment to preserving life that make both of them highly deserving of the life-saving award, and they were awarded said awards.
That's awesome.
That is
Anybody have any comments on that? Then we'll move to 6C, peer support implementation.
So as part of the agency wellness program, the peer support implementation, been working on this. Excuse me. We now have a draft policy and actually it's out of draft and implemented policy and procedure, and have 2 members of the agency that have been through peer support training and are up and running for the members of the agency. So.
Any questions or comments on that? Then we'll move to 6D, revised police blotter.
So in your packet, you had a template of a revised blotter. Wishing to move this forward and proceed with this, and just wanted some feedback, see if this was acceptable for informational sharing.
Any questions or comments on the revised police blotter? Cindy?
No, I like the new layout, so I appreciate the effort that went into it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it looks cool.
Okay.
There's a lot of info and a little graphic.
We'll try, truly hope to have that implemented here within the next week or so.
Awesome.
Person that's in charge of it, it happens to be heading into vacation, so it might delay it a little bit.
I did have one question on it.
Yep.
Where it says to identify the suspects and take proper LE action. I don't know what LE stands for.
Law enforcement.
Legal? Okay, law enforcement. Okay. I knew it was something. I just wasn't thinking. Okay, thank you.
Just a recommendation too. We got traffic stops on there. Yeah, I think it was at 56. I think there's like a huge, not a huge, but a more than average misnomer out there that while the officers are conducting traffic stops, that there's like tickets or multiple tickets issued every stop. And I know your philosophy and the department's philosophy has always been like contacts made in a positive manner as well. I don't know if we can demonstrate like actually tickets issued, of the 56, it's usually maybe 40 to 50% of tickets issued per traffic stop. I don't know if you want to like highlight warnings issued. You know where I'm going with this, because
I do.
you get on social media or you're even talking to neighbors, or at the Rosendale of South Central Wisconsin, and I think it's good that we do have the law enforcement presence out there. But if there's any way we can highlight that, they're making traffic stops, but they don't always result in a ticket being issued, would just be my only comment.
And truly appreciate that, and we'll bring it back to command staff. We had kicked around putting that on. The one negative was that people can basically construe the numbers the way they wish to. Sure. And again, so that's why we just kept it as a generic 56 traffic stops. Doesn't mean you're getting 56 citations or things of that nature. So, but I will definitely bring it back to my command staff and go from there. Mm-hmm.
Any other comments, Casey?
For like the notable call section, what are your thoughts on taking out the address for a notable call and just listing, what it was and then the result of the call?
Again, that's why we don't provide a specific address with
Okay.
the generalization of the location so that people are aware of incidents that are occurring, especially when we have visitors in the night that are going into vehicles to help try to remind people of those areas, make sure that they're locking their stuff up, securing their property.
Okay, so you're gonna keep it with the
block.
by the block thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Anything else? If not, we can move to 7, chief's reports.
All right. So, looking over calls for service, again, in comparison from a year ago, we had 1,280 calls for service in the month of May, compared to 1,496. Still on track in the sense of out there making our contacts, dealing with various calls, and handling various investigations. Moving on to our SRO report, as you can see, month of May, school year starting to wrap things up. Lots of contacts, both related to counseling and non-law enforcement versus law enforcement actions. Again, this was Officer Lee chose not to extend for another year, so this was his end of the school year. He'll have very short bit for June, but otherwise he is done. He's on third shift as by choice in patrol. Our flock report, again, just what it's being utilized for and the reasons. Excuse me. When we talk about dispatch versus officer initiated calls, as you can see, made it large, trying to hoping it would fit on the screen a little better than that, but it's obviously being dispatched to a lot of calls. Officers, as you can see here in the time frame, this is what I would expect to see, that officers are initiating a lot more calls during the overnight hours versus where people are calling in and requesting our assistance. As we spoke about traffic stops, again, spread out amongst all the shifts. And our cases by officer, again, as I referenced, Officer Lee did have the month of May, a lot of cleaning up at the end of the school year type of reports and things of that nature for him. So that is a quick synopsis of what's going on for the agency. Any questions?
Go ahead, John.
Have we identified a new SRO or?
That was my question.
You betcha. We met with school district starting August 18th, 16th. Officer Nordskog, now Officer Minen, will be the new SRO. She'll be attending SRO training school in July and hit the ground running.
Cool. Any other questions from anyone? Then we can move to number 8, future agenda items. Anybody have anything? No? All right, then we can move to number 9.
I motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, non-debatable. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good summer.